Hello, friends. Today we are going to talk about an interview of WWE legend, Hollywood superstar, and now retiring John Cena, which took place on the Joe Rogan podcast. In this conversation, John Cena revealed secrets, admitted mistakes, and shared a philosophy of life that you have probably never heard before. This is not an ordinary interview. It is a window into the mind of one of the most successful superstars and the story of a career-destroying political mistake that got him blacklisted in both worlds. So without wasting any time, let's begin. 10 years of learning the Chinese language and the one word that ruined everything. Everything in John Cena's life has been connected to wrestling. In 2012, WWE gave its wrestlers the opportunity to learn foreign languages for free. In that meeting, being one of the biggest wrestlers, John Cena decided that he would set an example. John Cena's objective. WWE had already reached everywhere: Moscow, the Philippines, South Africa. But China was the one place that did not understand our work. Like UFC, wrestling is a universal language. You can mute the sound and still see two men fighting, and the better man wins. But even that was not understood by the Chinese audience. I thought that if one of our superstars could speak Chinese, it might help break that barrier. The result of 10 years of hard work. I learned Mandarin Chinese for almost 10 years. I became so fluent that I started dreaming in Mandarin and speaking in Mandarin. It became my second language. I even lived in China and made a movie with Jackie Chan. In Inner Mongolia, where I was the only big white guy, people used to call me Big White Guy Hyundai. The historic mistake, the Taiwan incident. In 2019, John Cena was on a global press tour to promote a Hollywood movie. He decided that he would do 70% of his interviews in Mandarin. Everything was going perfectly. Final task. At the end of the press tour, he had to read some messages written on a teleprompter, all in Mandarin. After 10 hours of work, tired and exhausted, he read one message without checking it. What was that sentence? Taiwan will be the first country to watch this movie. Why was this dangerous for China? China does not recognize Taiwan as a separate country. It considers it a province. That sentence was one of the most aggressive statements against China's foreign policy. Devastating consequences. Reaction from China. Everyone said, "What did you just say? We don't do that here." John Cena's reaction. I immediately apologized to China. I did exactly what they told me to do. Reaction from America. People in my own country became furious with me for bowing to China. You are not a patriot anymore. Personal risk. I was shooting the movie Peacemaker. I went straight to director James Gunn and said, "If you want to fire me, I understand." The situation was that serious. John Cena's lesson. The lesson I learned was this: knowing a language is not the same as understanding a culture. I might be the only person in the world who got canceled after doing his homework. Entering WWE, failure, rapping, and the real story behind You Can't See Me. You might be surprised to know that John Cena was a complete failure when he entered WWE. He was failing so badly that he was close to being fired. Then a fortunate accident happened. Last chance to save his job. There was one final overseas WWE tour. While traveling on the bus, some wrestlers at the back were freestyle rapping. I usually stayed quiet, but that day I decided to join in. I beat 12 wrestlers in freestyle rap. Stephanie McMahon, daughter of WWE owner Vince McMahon, heard it. She said to me, "Why don't you do this on TV?" I had two options: lose my job or start rapping. I chose to rap. The real origin of You Can't See Me. It was my younger brother's joke. When I was making my first rap album, my brother copied a dance move where he waved his hand in front of his face and said, "You can't see me." He told me, "You'll never be able to do this on TV." I said, "All right, let's see." At that time, I was on a small show called Velocity that nobody watched. I did the move there. I got a small reaction. I tried it at non-televised shows. The reaction was better. And then it became famous worldwide. It was just an inside joke that turned into an iconic gesture. Backstage resistance in WWE. While I was doing all this, everyone backstage hated me. They said, "This guy doesn't respect the business." He doesn't love the business. The truth was simple. I was just trying to save my job. But once the crowd started reacting, WWE had to give me more chances. One match after another. After 23 years of compound interest, I'm standing here. WrestleMania 2024, the biggest heel turn in history. At WrestleMania 2024, John Cena did something that may be the biggest heel turn in WWE history. The colorful, energetic, heroic John Cena turned into a cold, dark, and ruthless villain. The dramatic entrance shift. Old John Cena. Colorful outfit, loud entrance music, pyrotechnics, running to the ring. Heel John Cena, WrestleMania 40. No music. Complete silence. No lights. A black screen. Only white letters, Cena, on a black background. Blank face. No emotion, no smile. Tony Hinchcliffe, pro wrestling expert, said, "It was unbelievable. For 4 hours, everyone came out with loud music and pyro. Then he came with nothing. It was iconic." John Cena's creative process. I relied on my resources. I asked the production team, "What are you thinking?" They said, "What if we go completely basic? What if we make the screen black?" I said, "Perfect. Let's do it." The goal was to send a message. I'm not here to entertain you. The contrast with his opponent. John Cena's opponent in the match was Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes' entrance. 40 people on red, white, and blue dirt bikes, fireworks, bright lights, wearing a giant mask, rising from inside the stage. John Cena. Empty hands, black outfit, no emotion on his face. That contrast is what made the moment unforgettable. Pain, surgery, and the painkillers that were never used. In a 23-year wrestling career, John Cena's body has endured more than 10 surgeries. Neck surgery, torn chest muscles, surgeries on both arms. But one thing is unbelievable. John Cena's philosophy on pain. My first surgery was in 2008. You wake up after surgery and the doctor asks, "Do you want painkillers?" My answer has always been no. In my drawer at home, I still have painkillers from 2008, 2010, and 2015. I have never taken a single pill. Reasons. Responsibility. I know I'm someone who could get addicted. It's a slippery slope. Listening to the body. Pain is your body's voice. If you silence it with pills, you stop listening. Your body might be telling you to rest or slow down. Physical therapy. If you don't feel pain, you won't work as hard in physical therapy. Pain tells you when to push and when to stop. Joe Rogan's experience. Joe Rogan mentioned his ACL surgery. He took one Vicodin pill and felt so stupid that he never took another one. He sold the remaining pills to a friend who sold them. Retirement and life philosophy. Live useful. John Cena is retiring from WWE on January 13th, 2025. But what does he think about the future? The reality of retirement. I'm retiring. 3 weeks later, the Royal Rumble will come, and everyone will forget my name. Because people will focus on the next superstar. This is not injustice. This is reality. I live my moments. They were incredible. People move on. Purpose of life. My purpose is to live useful, not waste life. The only thing I control is this. When someone bets on me, I give them my heart and soul. For every dollar they give me, I want to return 10. I can't control when the phone rings. I can only control that when it rings, I answer. Philosophy of gratitude. I was just a regular kid from West Newbury, Massachusetts. I was never supposed to be here. That's why I'm grateful every day. Gratitude isn't only for good times. You must also be grateful for bad times, pain, and lessons. If you seize just 30% of the opportunities life gives you, you will be among the top 1% of people in the world. Relationship with his father. My father and I didn't have a good relationship. I wanted him to be someone else. Eventually, I learned to step out of the way. The hardest part was accepting him as he was. When I did that, I understood his story, his dreams, his desires. Now we sit together and eat meals. It's very good. Final message. If you're chasing your dream, sleep on a beanbag, sleep in your car. Don't be afraid. When opportunity comes, just say yes. You only get one life. Make it useful, Goodbye, friends.